It can be really easy to look at a newborn baby and see a being that's completely incapable of, well, pretty much everything. But what we've learned from decades of scientific research is that babies are born with a lot going on in their little brains, especially when it comes to relationships. When babies are born, they immediately begin to seek out connection with the people around them. In fact, babies' earliest cries are actually bids for attention and care from their caregivers. Because they can't take care of their own needs, babies are actually born seeking out care from the adults around them in order to survive. It's actually kind of like a survival strategy that's activated at birth. Though there are changes in what those bids for care and attention look like across development, the main goal remains the same: to get care, comfort, and safety. And when caregivers are present and responsive to those bids for attention and provide comfort, care, and security, the relationship strengthens and deepens. Humans are not the only creatures to experience this kind of dependence on relationships early in life. In fact, significant research in animals has found similar kinds of patterns of relationship-seeking behaviors in ducks, goats, dogs, and monkeys. Perhaps the most well-known animal research on this concept of seeking relationships as a source of comfort comes from the studies of the effects of maternal separation on Rhesus monkeys, conducted by Harlow. The prevailing idea at the time was that primates were reliant on their mothers primarily as a source of food. To test these ideas about maternal care, researchers removed baby monkeys from their mothers at an early age. These baby monkeys were then given the option of spending time with a wire mother, who provided milk for the monkeys, or a cloth mother, who did not provide food but was covered in cloth to simulate fur. Scientists were surprised to find that the monkeys tended to spend much more time with their cloth mothers. Indeed, the monkeys seemed to only seek out the wire mother for very brief times when they were hungry, but preferred to spend most of their time with the cloth mothers as a source of comfort. And when they were frightened by a loud noise, they would cling to the cloth mother as if searching for protection and comfort. But later research with these monkeys found that those that were removed from their mother at an early age suffered severe social and functional impairments later in their lives. These studies gave researchers an important glimpse into the effects of early deprivation, and also the important role of comfort, not only nutrition, in mother-child interactions. But these studies raised many concerns about the ethical treatment of animals, and as such are widely considered extremely unethical today. In fact, most universities have research boards that have rigorous policies in place to review research that's conducted with animals as well as with humans that prevent this type of treatment from occurring. It should also be noted that Harlow is hardly the first person to study the dynamics of relationships. Harry and others like him were inspired by the work of John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, who were the pioneers of what we now call attachment theory. At its core, attachment theory focuses on the quality of the interpersonal relationship between humans, specifically when one is hurt, separated from loved ones, or under extreme stress or threat. The term attachment refers to the close bonds that humans develop with one another that stem from seeking comfort, stability, and protection. We've learned that the development of these attachment relationships starts from the early days of life with these back-and-forth interactions between babies and their caregivers. When babies are afraid, they seek comfort and protection from their caregivers, and when their caregivers provide that comfort in a responsive and consistent way, the foundations of attachment are strengthened. You can think of it like a tennis match, where one player serves the ball over the net to the other player, who then returns the serve. When these serves and returns go pretty smoothly and consistently, these interactions create an environment where each player wants to come back and play again. After a while, patterns develop, and baby learns things like, when I cry, my daddy comes and picks me up, or when I laugh, my mom laughs with me. It's these interactions that teach babies that they can rely on their caregivers to consistently care for them when they need. In these relationships, often called secure attachments, babies learn that their emotional needs will be met by their caregivers, and that their caregivers will provide safety and security as they begin to explore the big wide world around them. But, as in tennis, in relationships, when one player stops returning the serves or hits them too hard or not hard enough, the game can quickly become frustrating and unpredictable. In this scenario, the baby learns things like, when I cry, sometimes my daddy comes and sometimes I'm left to fend for myself. Or, when I laugh, sometimes my mom laughs too, but sometimes she ignores me. In these interactions, babies begin to learn that they can't reliably depend on their caregivers to help them or comfort them. To be clear, we're not talking about occasionally missing a response to a cry or a giggle. That's a normal part of life. Insecure attachments develop when adults respond with indifference, or worse, anger, to their baby's bids for attention. These types of interactions teach babies that adults can't reliably be trusted and that the world is an unsafe place, and that they're alone. In insecure attachments, babies learn that their caregivers cannot be relied upon to consistently meet their needs, or worse, that their caregivers are even a source of threat. In short, what babies learn through these early relationships with their caregivers shapes how they understand the world and the people in it. Is the world a safe place to explore, and are there people that I know I can count on to support me? Or are people untrustworthy, and should I be cautious or even scared of exploring the world? We can actually see some of these tendencies in action through some classic experiments that demonstrate how attachment relationships affect the way that babies behave. Stay tuned for an upcoming video to hear about the classic attachment study involving Mary Ainsworth's strange situation paradigm and what it tells us about early relationships. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, as that helps us out a lot. And if you'd like to subscribe to see more, you can hit that subscribe button and click the little bell icon if you want to receive notifications every time we upload a video. And if you want to help this channel keep going and keep growing, you can always support us over on Patreon at patreon.com/developmentalenthusiast. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.